Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our broadcast for Saturday, May 30th. The month is almost over, and Puerto Vallarta is getting ready to celebrate its big anniversary. Remember that today there's going to, or is it tomorrow? I forget, but I think it's today. There's going to be that aerial plane exhibition by the Mexican Air Force. I should know when this is happening, and maybe I'll add something to the screen when I edit this. As you know, this is pre-recorded. I am on my way to Guadalajara with some friends to enjoy both a performance of the Jalisco Philharmonic and a screening of an opera from the Metropolitan Opera Company in New York, the Met. This will be my last adventure in Guadalajara for a few months. There's just not that much going on that I'm able to attend, or that is interesting enough for me to, save a few pesitos. Maybe Pat Metheny in September, but between now and then, I don't think I'll be doing a lot of overnight traveling, but that's okay. I look forward to not going places. Now, for today, we've spoken about Rebecca Stolinga, also known as Stolie, this wonderful, wonderful woman, musician, book author, children's library founder, and we've had two lovely conversations with her, and we've had a chance to see the process that she went through to open her children's library, her bilingual children's library here in Puerto Vallarta. She has told us about the process that she went through to author her own bilingual children's book with her daughter in mind. We haven't spoken about the musical side of Stolie. And we do that today for a couple of reasons. Well, because one of the reasons is that tonight is, what I understand, is her final gig of the season. So if you have a chance to go check her out tonight at the Oasis Bar, please do so. She is a very, very amazing performer. And the second reason is because she brings to the table, and what I mean by that is she brings to the concert hall or the stage some very unique skills that you don't see put into place by other live music performers here in town all that frequently. So do enjoy this interview with Stolie. This will be our final of the three. And of course, I hope you, like myself, look forward to her return to Puerto Vallarta, when she's promised to return to the spotlight with some interesting demonstrations, as you will see right away. Stolie, we've had a chance to talk about your library project. We've had a chance to talk about the book that you've authored for your daughter and all the children that want to be bilingual.
Yes.
Let's talk about music.
Love it.
First of all, in our previous conversations, I was so fascinated by the fact that you have been a musician focused on children for a while.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
Was this the original thought, and then you became Stolie the performer, or
other way around?
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through that.
It all began
once upon a time.
Okay. I learned piano as a child from 6 years old. About 10 years, then I got to high school and I was interested in the guitar. And I found a like chart book from U2, Joshua Tree. You remember that album?
Yep.
My brother had gifted to me this book for my birthday, but I'm like, this isn't for piano. And it sat, and now I want to learn guitar, and I open it up, I'm like, these are guitar chords. This is a secret language to learn how to play guitar. So I learned my first 3 chords from this book. So the first cover song I ever learned was I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was when I was 16, just a few years ago.
Just last week.
Yeah. And I don't know, that's how that journey began, playing music. And I was always compelled to create from the beginning of learning guitar more than piano, because then I was like, what song can I write? It just was always very natural to me. I remember someone saying in those first couple years of teaching myself guitar, how do you sing and play at the same time? And I was like, is that something that's hard for other people to do?
Yes. Yes.
But that was like, I remember him saying that because it was something that was an alert to me, like, oh.
You know, people like, I'm a piano player. People like Carole King, for example, I mean, or any pianist that can play the piano and sing at the same time, it's, I can't. So anybody that does that, and anybody, I mean, I can cruise my way through some serious piano playing, or at least I used to, but singing and playing, it's I bow in your general direction. Now, do you consider yourself more of a songwriter or a singer? Do you write a lot of your own songs, or do you do a lot of covers? What is the experience like when people go hear you play live?
What an interesting question.
We hope for interesting questions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have kept doing this for so long if I wasn't also creating and writing original content. So I do definitely identify as a songwriter, but I feel like a lot of the performances I do lean very heavy on the covers because it's what people know, it's what they're drawn to, and also if I'm playing for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes that helps break up the unknowing of original music, as it may be. I will say I miss singing at Encanto, where I could do a show that was very original music focused in that cabaret setting. I'm missing a venue like that for the storytelling. And
what prevents you from doing that at other venues?
I think the atmosphere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I perform regularly. I perform regularly at Casita and Garden.
Yes.
I've been loving that venue because people do pay attention, and I am able to chat with the audience and tell stories here and there. But it is more, it's spread out, and that kind of vibe ebbs and flows through the night. Sometimes, the chatter goes up and people are eating and they're conversing, and then I bring it back and have a moment where I can really focus on an original song and the story, and then have this like really powerful connection with the audience. But house concerts and cabaret style intimate venues are really built for showcasing those original stories.
I want to touch base on something that I saw you do. It was probably out in Encanto, and I think this is one fascinating thing that you do, and it sets you apart from other live performers in this city. And this is your command of the looping pedal. And for those of you that don't understand, I'm going to explain it in Paco Mexican terms, and then I'm going to love hearing you talk about this. But when you're watching Stolie perform, okay, here's Stolie with her guitar, and if you pay attention to her feet, she's got all kinds of chingaderas down there. And by some strange miracle of technology, she'll play a tune, ka-tune, tune, tune, ka-tune, and then she steps on something, and then the machine down there starts the machine just keeps the rhythm. It just keeps tune, ka-tune, tune, tune, ka-tune, ting. And you keep adding layers and layers and layers of guitar and vocals and this, that, and the other. And before you know it, you've built your own accompaniment track on the spot
On the fly.
to do that just beautifully. And I can't remember when I first saw you do that, but I was like blown away at how beautifully and seamlessly and effortless you made it seem. Unpack this for us.
I do appreciate that that comment, that effortless and seamless, because I forget sometimes that people don't understand what's going on. And I just get into it because it's fun for me to be able to create these arrangements on the fly where basically it's a recording device that you trigger with your feet, but you have to do it in precise timing so that the loop hits at the right time and doesn't have a stutter. Everyone hears a stutter. Everyone hears a mistake. In a live performance, you move through it, it's forgotten. In a loop, it's there over and over again. So you can't make mistakes. I think
You
that's a
cannot
good
add
point
like
to
an
make.
extra beat or
No.
wait a little bit.
No, I don't even know if you can really, I guess you can loop like a 5/4 or, an offbeat. That's getting too technical.
Well, maybe or maybe not. Promise me that someday you'll come back with your guitar and all your chingaderas, and we'll do like a demo.
Oh, I would love to do that.
That would be like so much fun, because I think, with all due respect to other people that do live performances in town, some people rely on a band, which I can imagine can be expensive. Other people rely on tracks, and tracks are for some people, and then they're not for other people. But what your solution is just absolutely beautiful. Now, I imagine that there has to be an encounter. I was going to say clash, but hopefully not a clash. An encounter between songs that you want to perform that lend themselves to looping and songs that you want to perform but that are not loop friendly. Let me start by, even before we go there.
Okay.
If I buy a ticket to go hear Stolie, what kind of music can I expect to hear? Something that is reminiscent of...
That is a deep question to answer. I don't know if you've heard, but I have more than 600 songs in my catalog. So,
Originals?
No, probably about 100 originals.
Okay.
And the rest are covers, and that doesn't include my holiday music or my St. Patrick's Day music.
Wow.
When I perform at Casita and Garden, I usually just perform voice and guitar, which
Okay.
has been its own thing this season, which has been really enjoyable for me because I can really focus on my voice.
When you say voice and guitar, does that include the looping stuff?
I'm saying no looping stuff.
No looping, no
Yeah.
technology.
Sometimes I bring it, but rarely.
Okay.
Other venues, I set up the whole rig, and then I can have harmonies through one pedal and the loops through another.
But it's
and
all created by you.
all created by me. So I can loop any
We
song.
have to go. We have to go.
I will say I can loop any song. So but there are some where it's like, it would sound better just acoustic. And so then I don't loop a song every now and then at the looping shows to give a different flavor, because we all like to have different feels throughout a show. But typically what I do with the loop pedal is lay down a beat where I'm like banging on the guitar or using a shaker or a drumstick. So it kind of lays just a rhythm underneath it all that I can stop and start as I want, just for more
For effect.
pizzazz. And then I can layer other things on top of that or next to it. I can have harmonies come in or out on the chorus if I want backup singers.
But you are your own backup singer.
Right.
And I'm repeating myself, I know, but this is what I think blows my mind in the best possible way about what the possibility of hearing you perform. This is a lot of creative stuff happening at the same time. And I want to make sure that the audience understands that. There is the layer of singing, there's the layer of accompanying, but then there's also all these other layers that you build that you have to trigger right on time.
And keep track of which pedal they're inside of to take them in or out. And yeah.
No cocktails for you.
Third set.
Third.
But But no, I often joke, like, if you could see what's going on inside my mind, you'd really get a show. Because that's why when I'm doing the looping stuff, and I recently said this to someone, like, I envy those people who can just sing, because then they can look at the audience the whole time, and they have a hand free for gesturing, but I'm busy here, I'm busy here, I'm busy here, busy here, and I'm trying to connect with my eyes and my smile and jokes in between, but hitting the right foot pedal or not, and if I'm not, then I fix it on the fly, and so people don't really notice when I make mistakes. I very rarely do, actually, but if something just sounds like really awful, I will literally stop the song and be like, I'm not into it. Next.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you say this, because sometimes I look at my own interviews here for the Spotlight and I think to myself, Paco, you look so fucking distracted. And I'm going to tell you why. Because what you guys don't know is that while we're recording the interview, I'm looking down at the computer because, see, boom, there is a close-up of Stolie. Say hello.
Hi.
Thank you very much. And then boom, there is the two of us together. And I am doing this at the same time that I'm trying to conduct the interview and stay coherent in a language that is not my own. No cocktails for me, not even on the third set, that's for sure. So this is just fascinating. Are there other artists in town that you're aware of that doing the looping as thoroughly and as beautifully as you are?
Not anybody that I know that uses it a lot. I have walked by a couple restaurants on Basilio Badillo that I've heard, like, that's looping, because I recognize it.
Of course.
I recognize when it's a live loop versus a backing track, which a lot of even guitarists will use a backing track to have some drums and maybe strings, whatever, but then they'll sing and play with it. But the looping is, yeah, it's happening in the moment, nothing's pre-recorded, and it takes someone with a brain who understands arrangement to understand when things are coming in or out and how it's layered and stuff like that. So I don't know other musicians who might be doing it. Also, like, us artists are so busy doing what we're doing, so we don't get to see other people doing their thing as much as we would really like to.
Well, the reason I ask is because I know that anybody going to hear you perform, I want them to pay attention to these details, because it is something that doesn't just happen. Mm-hmm. It takes a skill, it takes practice, and it takes a hell of a lot of creativity, and you nail it.
Ooh, I'm going to quote you on that.
You nail it. Now, all through the interview, of course, we're flashing your beautiful website, and poor people can find out more about what you're doing. For the next couple of months, for the summer months, for the weather that's coming up, where can people have the pleasure of hearing you perform?
Well, first of all, I will say I'm here through early June.
Okay.
And then sneaking up to Chicago for a couple months to do some children's shows and see family, things like that.
So between now and June?
All of May, every Friday, I will be at Oasis's Rio bar that's opening on the water side. So they close the big bar, open the little bar. That will be Fridays, 7 to 9. And I will do the looping in that little space.
Wait, time out. Is this the place where you performed this past Monday? The Rancho...
No, Rancho Santiago.
Rancho Santiago. No, Oasis?
Oasis with an A-W-A-Y.
Okay, help me. Oh, it's the place that's near the river.
The bridge.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yes. Oasis on Fridays in their Rio bar. So you can enter on the riverside, and they just open up this little space that has air conditioning, by the way.
Temperature control is good?
And they'll be open all summer, but I'm just confirmed Fridays through May, and I have a couple more shows at Casita and Garden that will be on Mondays, May 12th and 26th, 8 to 10. And probably another date at Rancho Santiago, which is, it's Paso del Guayaba.
Del Guayabo, yes.
Guayabo.
Yes, I went to visit it the other day.
Yeah.
And I took a couple of photos.
It's a fun spot. And
we hope they do well.
I do the full looping there as well, so I'll probably have one more show there before I leave in June.
Excellent. Is there anything we are not touching on yet that people should know? I always ask that question. You guys
Yeah.
know it if you're watching all these interviews, but I want to make sure that we cover as much as we can without taking away the fact that you're always welcome to come back.
Thank you. Well, I like to mark each of my seasons in Vallarta with a different something or other. And this year was the book and the library, the growth of Labib. Last year I released a new Stolie album that featured songs that were written kind of over the past like 7 years because I got distracted with the baby and pandemic and all that. So I don't know what next year will be presenting for me and my music in this town, but I'm feeling a draw to collaboration. So I don't know what that means or who will be involved. If you have suggestions or dream ideas for Stolie, and yeah, send it my way because I'm trying to feel like what's going to be my thing for next year.
Well, I'm sure that the universe will like stretch out signs for you to see.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Stolie, what a pleasure.
Thank
you
you.
so much for joining me today. And I hope that a lot of people will come and see your shows. A lot of people will discover the library, discover the book. I hope you find wonderful inspiration while you're away in Chicago. And I'm sure that you'll come back with all kinds of exciting news.
Yes, thank you so much for this chat. I really appreciate the time. Yeah.
And that was my interview with Stolie. I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, of course, as always, I thank you for giving me license to get away from time to time. As I mentioned earlier in this program, I don't think I'll be going away much more during the summer months, but enjoy. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, I thank you immensely for helping me spread the word about what we do here. Every time you watch one of these interviews on YouTube, you're helping support our project, and I'm deeply grateful for that. Tomorrow, another great interview with a man that has decided to improve our fitness levels here in Puerto Vallarta, and he's doing it in a most amazing way. You'll check it out tomorrow morning. And of course, I'll see you back here live and bushy tailed on Monday morning.